Hello everyone, my name is Josh Stevens and I work for Trotec Laser Inc. And today I will be discussing turnkey laser systems for part marking and batch processing. To start things off, I'd like to give you a little bit of background information on myself. I've been in the laser industry for 8 years now, in which time I've supported both small and large companies. For those years, I've worked at Trotec Laser Inc. in business development, and I also work as their senior applications engineer. Throughout this time period, I've gained experience in sales, support, customer training, and several educational seminars. To give you a brief overview of what we will cover today, we're going to start out with a little background information on Trotec Laser. From there, we're going to move into the marking industry, some of the processes and fundamentals involved. After that, we're going to take an in-depth look at flatbed laser solutions, then followed up by galvanometer laser solutions, and to conclude, we will have the Flexx series, which is our total solution, and after that, we will open up for a brief question and answer session. To start out with a little bit of background information on Trotec, Trotec is part of the Trodat Group, which is a company that was founded in 1912 in Vienna, Austria. In 1951, the company relocated to Wels in Upper Austria. Today, Trodat is known as the world leader in self-inking stamps. A little background information on the Trodat Group. The Trodat Group is a privately owned self-finance company. They have been the trendsetter in the international marking industry, and we have been ISO certified since 1995. In addition to all of this, customers can be found in 170 countries all over the world. Presented on this slide are a few of the companies that are within the Trodat Group. To give a little background on the Trotec history itself, in 1996 is when the first Trotec laser was developed. Shortly after, in 1997, we had the foundation of Trotec as an independent company. After which, in 1998, we moved our operations from Wels to Martring. And in 2002, we had the foundation of Trotec Laser USA. Shortly after, in 2004, Trotec Laser moved from Jackson, Mississippi to Ypsilanti, Michigan. And from the time period of 2008 to 2011, Trotec's U.S. operation tripled in size in terms of its annual units sold. Following up in 2013, Trotec has expanded its facilities and moved to Canton, Michigan. And in 2015, Trotec continues to expand in the U.S. by opening 5 regional service and support centers. Here's a brief map of where you can find Trotec laser locations across the globe. Trotec is more of a solution provider. We have a broad product range that can help make our customers more profitable. Our flatbed systems range from our SP1500 model to the Rayjet model, which ranges from 59-inch by 49-inch working areas to 18 by 12-inch working areas. We have both flatbeds and galvanometer products. We have our Laserati, which is a high-speed rubber stamp laser machine. We have our job control software and Trocam software, which is kind of the heart of the laser systems. In addition to all this, we have several accessories available to optimize your laser system. One of our focuses is to remain in close proximity with our customers and with our customer orientation. In order to do this, we hire direct sales and service representatives to work directly with the customers. Also, we have an application lab available for testing of products, and we have a large network of service and support centers located across the region. The Trotec Mission. Our mission is to offer our customers first-class laser solutions in order to make them more profitable. And in order to do this, our systems are designed for engraving, cutting, and marking processes. Here's where you can see a brief overview of all the products you can make with the Trotec laser systems. Anywhere from stamps and awards to marking electronics and laptops, creating furniture, architectural models, industrial part marking, etc. So when we start to look at the marking process and fundamentals, there are some key elements that we need to keep in mind of. Number one, why would we want to choose laser marking over another method, such as mechanical engraving, chemical etching, or maybe even just using a CO2 laser versus a fiber laser? In short, the fiber lasers will give us the least amount of work in order to achieve an end product that is marked. In addition to this, the laser leads the industry as far as the marking quality, durability, flexibility, less wear and tear and maintenance as well. So what are the benefits that we get from choosing laser marking? One of the benefits would be a quick turnaround. There's less material handling involved, no mechanical tools or bits. The laser systems can accomplish flexible workloads, both small and large volumes. There's a lower operating cost. Your basic costs are going to be electricity and the labor for the operator. And in the end, you get high quality marks from a laser system. And in addition to this, due to its flexibility, it has the ability to grow with your business. So how do we achieve these laser marks? Basically, we're utilizing a fiber laser. With a fiber laser, how we're generating the beam is through an optical fiber that's been doped with a rare earth element. In most cases, a terbium is used as the earth element. The wavelength of the light that we're producing is 1.06 micrometers. This is a smaller beam being generated than a CO2 laser. It's typically not absorbed by organic materials such as wood or glass or things of that nature. The main advantage to a fiber laser is that it provides a method of etching metal directly. In addition to this, it can also mark plastics. So, how does the fiber laser work best? What materials can we process? For the most part, with a fiber laser, you're going to be focused on marking metals. However, there are several different types of plastics that you can mark as well. The materials that will not react with a fiber laser are going to be your paper, textiles, glass, wood, and stone, things of that nature. However, there are several different processes in marking the metal itself. When we're focusing in on metal marking with a fiber laser, there's 3 different processes that we're going to take a look at. We have engraving, where we're actually going to remove surface material to create a durable mark. We have annealing, which is the mark where we are bringing carbon to the surface of the metal and creating a dark black mark on the product. This can typically be done with stainless steel and titanium. And then we also have coating removal, where we have a coating that's applied to the top surface of the metal, and we want to remove that coating without affecting the material underneath. And in cases that we would do coating removal would be anodized aluminum, coated metals, films, things of that nature. Now, if we move on and take a look at how we can process plastics with a fiber laser, we have 4 different processes. We have engraving, removing the material. Coloring, which is basically a color change to the surface of the plastic. Then we have foaming. Foaming is where we produce a color change on the surface. However, some of the plastic bubbles up over the surface, creating more of a dome-shaped mark. And finally, we have, again, coating removal, where we're just taking off the top surface of the material without affecting the surface underneath. Now, how do we put this into real-world aspects? For using the fiber laser, a lot of the different processes are going to be more for barcodes and serial numbers, data plates, industrial tags, medical devices, promotional items, tools, smartphones, tablets, and all sorts of other electronic devices. So when we're looking at some of the market segments that we can approach with a fiber laser, we're looking at metal and mechanics, where basically we can have direct part marking on metal tools, components, drill bits, things of that nature. In addition, there's a great demand in the aviation and aerospace industry, where they have many requirements for direct part marking, and in addition for serialization and UID marking as well. Another large market segment is going to be in the military, where we again need to do direct part marking on metal, marking on data plates, also polyester labels, and all in all for UID data matrix codes, UID tracking. Here's where we're going to get into more of an equipment overview. To start out, we're going to discuss a few of the differences between the different beam delivery methods. With Trotec, we have both flatbed and galvanometer systems. Flatbeds are going to be more similar to a desktop printer, while a galvo laser is going to be more of an industrial system. When we're looking at the differences of flatbed and galvanometer, we're strictly talking about the beam delivery method. In the case of a flatbed that you'll see on the left, we have the beam coming through and being bounced off several mirrors to reach a marking head that's moving back and forth and progressing downward. This results in a very fast x-axis movement at up to 140 inches per second. The advantages to a flatbed can be a larger working area and a smaller spot size. However, with the smaller spot size, there is less focal tolerance. With the galvanometer laser, instead of having a more like gantry system moving the beam across a large area, we utilize galvanometer mirrors for the X and Y axis that project downward onto a marking field. This gives us very fast X and Y axis movement at up to 394 inches per second, even for short distances. However, we do have a smaller working area with a galvo laser. In addition to this, we have a larger spot size. However, we can achieve more focal tolerance. So, looking at flatbed and galvanometer systems, when do we need what? Typically, we'll go to a flatbed laser whenever we need to mark larger components, and in some cases, we'll go to the galvo laser when we need to mark more numerous components. So looking at some of the differences, the flatbed specializes more so in batch processing, as where the galvo laser is more of a sequential processing. Flatbed allows for quick changeovers. It also allows for larger working areas. In addition to all of this, the operator can be performing additional duties during the processing of the system. And in general, the flatbed will add value to the marking and engraving due to the quality. With the flatbed systems, there's also the possibility of a Flexx system, which we will discuss later on in this presentation. With the galvo systems, we're looking at a very fast method of marking, resulting in very short marking times. The galvo systems are definitely great for higher unit volumes. However, you will have a smaller working area. You can process small to medium-sized parts. You would want a dedicated operator to be able to load and unload each part as it's being marked. The other advantage to a galvo system is marking content with dynamic data. Let's take a more in-depth look at the flatbed systems themselves. So with a flatbed system, we have two different ways of processing. We have raster engraving, and then we also have vector cutting. The raster engraving marking is more printer-like. Your head is traveling on the x-axis from the left to the right. Graphics are being processed line-wise bidirectionally. The control of the quality is through DPI, dots per inch, and PPI, pulses per inch. You can achieve very fast x-axis movement, however your y-axis movement is going to be more incremental, or line by line. With vector cutting, it's more like a milling machine. The laser head is going to travel along a certain cut path. These cut paths are made up of vector lines, shapes, geometries, and the vectors are processed sequentially. With vector cutting, you're going to have slower x-axis and y-axis movement. What are the advantages to the flatbed systems? Well, with Trotec's flatbed systems, we have the widest product range available for the customer. We have brushless DC servo motors on all of our systems for our performance and reliability. We're the fastest in the industry with speeds up to 140 inches per second. There's a wide range of accessories available for processing capabilities, some of which are air assist, vision systems, rotary attachments, etc. With Trotec, you will have unmatched accuracy and repeatability. Our addressable accuracy is around 5 micrometers, while our static repeat accuracy is plus or minus 15 micrometers. With the Trotec systems, you're covered for a full 2 years on all of our systems with our comprehensive warranty. In addition to this, Trotec has the impact technology, where basically all components utilized to move the beam are sealed away. Your motors, your bearings, your belts, everything is sealed away, giving you a lower cost of maintenance and overall a lower cost of ownership. In addition to all of this, Trotec has developed the job control software, which is really the heart of the laser system, and we're going to take a deeper look into that software. With the job control software, we have a very easy to use setup. We're working just like a printer. So when we go File, Print, and bring up our properties, we have a very user-friendly setup. Basically, all we have to do is set the size of the job that we're sending over to the laser, choose our settings from our material database, which is preloaded with general settings, and then we can even enhance our processing capabilities through several built-in features to optimize our graphics and our production process. Some of the additional features in the job control software consist of our job time estimator, our job properties, and our vector graphic information. With the job time estimator, you can know exactly how long it's going to take to process the job before you process it. With our job properties, we can take a more in-depth look at some of the settings being used with this job. And with our vector graphic information, we can see each of the cuts in the order that they're going to cut in. Moving on to another huge feature with the job control software is our material database. The material database organizes all of our settings into groups and material settings. Within this database, we can come in and easily change any of the parameters for the laser marking without much difficulty. In addition, we can turn on and off our air assist, we can add multiple passes, we can program our Z offset for our Z axis to change our focus distance. In addition to all of that, we have advanced capabilities of backing up this data. So we can export the whole material database to an XML file to be used later. In addition to this, we can actually lock out our material database to where you have to have administrative rights in order to change the settings. What that results in is basically an operating environment where the settings are not going to be changed by the operator. With the Job Control X, we basically have a one-window screen where we can manipulate our jobs and get the most efficiency out of processing. Basically, in this white area on the screen, where we have two jobs located, two circles, this white area is our plate area, better known as our working area of the laser. Anywhere I place my jobs on the screen in job control, that is where they'll process on the laser bed. That brings us into another feature with the job control software, and that's our bidirectional communication, meaning that the laser and the computer system constantly communicate back and forth in order to help optimize the efficiency for processing. If we take a look at the product line structure, we have systems ranging from 24 inches by 12 inch up to 59 inch by 49 inch. Our most popular models consist of the Speedy 100, Speedy 300, and Speedy 400. All of those models are configurable as CO2, fiber, or Flexx lasers. For our large format customers, we have the SP500 with a 49 by 28 inch work area and the SP1500 with a 59 inch by 49 inch working area. Both of those systems are available in CO2 only. This next section, we're going to discuss galvanometer lasers a little further. The basic design to the galvo laser is that we're going to deliver the beam by two rotating mirrors. This gives us a smaller working area. However, in most cases, the galvo laser can mark up to 10 times faster than a flatbed system. Also, the galvo lasers are typically a class 4 laser unless you have an enclosure provided. Galvo lasers can be easily integrated into many different production processes. When taking a look at the galvo laser, we're basically taking a look at two mirrors mounted onto servo motors that drive your XY movement of the beam. So those mirrors are going to project the beam downwards through an F theta lens onto a marking field. Your working area or your marking field is determined by your lens size. As you increase lens sizes, your working area will increase and your spot size will increase. In addition to that, your focal tolerance will increase as well. The only downside to increasing your lens size or your working field size is that as that spot size increases, the detail or the clarity that you get from the mark may change versus using a smaller lens. Looking at our product overview for the galvo lasers, we have two different product series. We have the ProMarker series and the SpeedMarker series. With the ProMarker series, we have the advantage with the Direct Mark software, which takes a galvo laser and makes it as easy as printing to a printer. This allows for high volumes with the ease of printing. The ProMarker series is more of a plug-and-play solution. It has a very comparable concept to the flatbed lasers. However, on the other hand, the SpeedMarker series is equipped with the SpeedMark software. This is a software designed for the industrial market to make it easier to process in those high-volume industrial environments. We can have standalone systems or semi-automated systems. The galvo lasers with the SpeedMarker series are available as OEM, and you can equip them with either CO2 or fiber lasers. We have several different options that are basically ready to roll, plug-and-play options that you can add on at any time with the galvo laser. This includes adding in the exhaust capability, several different rotary attachments, lenses, also adding in an optical focus finder, etc. For now, we're going to take a deeper look into the ProMarker series itself. The ProMarker family, we have two main products. We have the ProMarker 100 and the ProMarker 300. The main focus with the ProMarker series is to keep it as easy as printing. Very similar setup to the flatbed systems as far as your graphical setup, printing to the laser, focusing and marking. The ProMarker series is often good to supplement any additional flatbeds in case of high volume workloads or smaller medium dimensions that can get the job done faster. The ProMarker is completely different than the SpeedMarker family regarding your operation, the applications you can do, and your software features. What is the advantage with the ProMarker system? We have a high-speed marking solution. Our customers can work from his or her own layout and design software, which means that all your design features are automatically available to be sent over to the laser system. By using your own software, there's no file import-export issues. Even color photos can be marked directly with the Direct Mark software. The printer driver reduces setup time for jobs. Whenever you have to say file print, That keeps it as simple as possible. The material database is much like you've seen on the flatbed lasers in the job control software. This allows for an easy way to facilitate parameter searches and also to organize all of our different marking settings. So what is the value that's being added for the customer? The printer driver is the easiest and quickest way to get your part marking done. Short setup times, high marking speeds, that gives you the best productivity. With the ProMark laser system, you do not have to worry about maintenance. There's no need for consumables, and you have very low power consumption. So the idea behind the ProMarker is to keep it high volume marking, but keep it as simple as printing. So there's only 3 steps involved when sending a job to the ProMarker laser. You say File, Print out of your graphics software, you open up the properties, set your material settings, and then you send it to the laser and hit Start. Now let's take a closer look at the SpeedMarker series. With SpeedMarker series, we currently have 4 different models available. We have the SpeedMarker 100, SpeedMarker 300, SpeedMarker 700, and SpeedMarker 1300. The main differences between the model ranges is basically the size of the system. So within the SpeedMarker family, there's several different models based on your size, power, and marking efficiency. There are completely different requirements for the SpeedMarker compared to the ProMarker. It's more of a customizable solution, something that's more tailored to what you're trying to achieve with the system. In addition to this, there's optional X and Z axes for movement of the galvo head in order to mark larger working areas. So the advantages for the SpeedMarker. A lot of it comes down to the software that we use in order to operate the system. With our SpeedMark software, you have a powerful, intelligent, and very user-friendly laser marking software for all of your industrial applications. Our product portfolio is very wide and has matured over the years, basically rendering solutions for all of our customers. We have the introduction of the SpeedMarker 1300, which is a standalone system that allows for larger part marking. With all of the SpeedMarker systems, we have flexibility and capability for customer-specific requirements. And overall, for the SpeedMarker systems, quality is our focus. Now, within the SpeedMark software, there's several different features that we have to offer. One of which is the deep engraving function. This element can be added into the scripting of the job in order to give you the best clarity, detail, and depth whenever you need to achieve a specific depth of your mark. Basically, this element operates by rotating your marking 15 degrees each time it does a pass, giving you much better depth without slag. We also have an array function where we can easily duplicate one graphical element and have it also duplicate the serialization. We have the material parameter finder where you can basically run a test swatch of every laser setting possible for that material, and then you can use the grid to find what setting you think looks best. The SpeedMark software has a very intuitive and graphical flowchart program. There's several input windows for the users. SpeedMark software also optimizes in variable data, importing different lists, and also generating barcodes. In addition to this, you can have scripting within the SpeedMark software. There's a user-specific run screen. There's also user rights administration. And in addition to all this, you can actually integrate the DirectMark printer driver with the SpeedMarker series. So what's the main difference between ProMarker and SpeedMarker? If you're looking for a system that can mark directly from any type of software, the ProMarker is going to be a great choice. If you're looking for more specific operations such as generating barcodes, serial numbers, having additional input-output signals, more of a user-defined interface, then you would want to take a closer look at the SpeedMarker series. How are our products different from each other? With the SpeedMarker, we can have changing of the content within the same layout, serial numbers. We have a production environment with automation requirements. With the ProMarker series, we have a graphical layout focus with several frequently changing files, and where we're looking at trying to process higher volumes, but keeping it as simple as printing. With the Speedy series, we have the capability of larger parts, where graphical layout is an important part of customers' work, and where you can have the system in an office environment, not a separate laser workshop. This last section that we're going to cover is the Flexx concept. Trotec's Flexx concept started when we first manufactured a fiber laser on a flatbed system. After that, we were the first system manufacturer to have 2 laser sources onto one flatbed system. And finally, again, we were the first manufacturer to introduce both a CO2 and a fiber laser source onto one single beam path on one machine. All of this started in 2004 and has progressed its way up to present day. So far, throughout this presentation, we focused on the fiber laser capabilities. Now, with the Flexx series, we're going to open up into CO2 lasers as well. CO2 lasers are the highest power continuous wave lasers and are one of the earliest gas lasers to be developed. The infrared light is typically between 9.4 and 10.6 micrometers, which is 10 times larger than the fiber laser source. Over the years, the CO2 lasers have been optimized, going from a glass laser source to a metal laser source, and now the top of the line is the ceramic laser source. What can you actually do with CO2 laser systems? With the CO2 laser, we're opening up into more of the organic materials. So we can do engraving and cutting of several different plastics, fabrics, paper. We can even process stone, ceramics, rubber, things of that nature. However, for direct part marking, such as marking bare stainless or aluminum, that is not the most efficient operation for a CO2 laser. So why is it important to have a ceramic laser source? The ceramic laser source is a 100% ceramic core where you store the gases that are generating the laser beam. The electrodes that charge those gases are located on the outside of the tube. There are no welded joints, which will reduce outgassing or leaking of the gases over time. In addition to all this, the core itself is basically 2 halves of ceramic that are fused together at 800 degrees Celsius. So while the core is being produced, we're also eliminating any impurities inside of the tube that could contaminate the gases. The ceramic laser sources have the longest lifetime. We've seen these sources last greater than 6 years. So in the end, the main advantages with a ceramic laser source are going to be better beam quality, better beam stability, and longer lifetime. So what are some of the benefits of having the Flexx system, having both the CO2 and fiber laser sources on one system? Well, all in all, the Flexx reduces the customer's costs. The combination of fiber and CO2 on the same system will reduce your equipment and production costs greatly. Now, instead of having to maintain 2 separate systems, you can have it all combined into one. The Flexx will also reduce your floor space requirements, allowing for more equipment to come in. In addition to all that, it will eliminate expensive consumables like ThermArk, used for marking on metal with just a CO2 laser. The Flexx provides future options for customers to grow their business, and most importantly, to improve their profitability. So looking at the Trotec product range as a whole, where does the Flexx series apply? The Flexx series is focused onto the Speedy 100, Speedy 300, and Speedy 400 systems. So taking a more in-depth look at these Flexx lasers, the Speedy 100 Flexx can be configured anywhere from 10 to 30 watts of fiber laser power and 40 to 60 watts of CO2 laser power, while the Speedy 300 Flexx can be configured anywhere from 10 to 50 watts of fiber laser power and 30 to 120 watts of CO2 power. And last but not least, the Speedy 400 Flexx can be configured with 10 to 50 watts of fiber laser power or 40 to 120 watts of CO2 laser power. So now hopefully you're ready for Flexx. Ready for Flexx basically means that you can upgrade a Speedy 100, Speedy 300, or Speedy 400 CO2 or fiber system with a second laser source at a later date. This is an absolutely one of the most unique product features on the market. So essentially every Speedy system is ready for Flexx. It's ready for that dual laser capability. So in the end, you're opened up with a wide range of materials that you can work with one laser system. From acrylics, glass, wood, paper and fabric, granite, marble and stone, ceramic tiles, stamped seals, metals, all sorts of different customization, identification, and traceability, basically giving you the maximum flexibility of what you can do with one single system. In addition, with the Flexx series, you can mark on 2 different materials in one job process. For instance, on a knife, we can mark the blade with the fiber laser source, then we can turn around and we can mark the wooden handle with a CO2 laser source. That concludes my presentation, and at this time I would like to open it up into a brief question and answer session. Thank you for sticking around so far.
Okay, Josh, thank you very much for your insight and such great information. Now let's get to that Q&A session that you just mentioned. Before we do that, we'd like to remind everyone, if we don't get to your question, well, don't worry. We'll have an answer for you within 24 hours. The complete Q&A transcript, including answers we did not have time for, will be sent to all of our registered attendees and will be posted with the webinar when it goes into the on-demand mode. Okay, let's get to those questions now. Here's the first question, Josh. Can the system be integrated into existing systems and processes?
Yes, the workflow of the Trotec systems will allow them to be seamlessly integrated into your current production process.
Okay, Josh, next question. Are there any additional safety requirements or special precautions?
Trotec systems are classified as a laser safety 2, which means that all the systems have a safety interlock system that ensures the operator is not exposed to the laser energy.
Thank you very much, Josh. Here's another question. Are the systems configurable?
Yes, there are several options and accessories that you can choose from full line integration to simply adding a plug-and-play device such as a rotary attachment.
Okay, next up. Can you change the colors of the marks?
You can achieve different colors on titanium with a fiber laser by altering your marking settings. However, most substrates, it is dependent upon the material itself as to whether you will get different colors or a color change.
Okay, Josh, here's another question. What type of pre- or post-processing is there?
There are no pre-processing steps for the fiber lasers is it can mark directly onto metal parts. Post-processing is typically dependent upon the end user's wants or needs.
Next question up. Do the marks meet mil-spec requirements?
Yes, the marks can meet mil-spec requirements when settings are dialed in properly.
Thanks, Josh. Here's another question. How long do the marks last?
The marks are pretty much permanent marks onto the substrate or piece. However, if there's any grinding or things after, you could force the mark off, but it is not going to wear out, so to speak.
Okay, Josh, we've got time for a few more. What is the cost of ownership?
The cost of ownership for a fiber laser or really any of Trotec systems is very minimal. Your basic costs are going to be the operator expense and the electricity.
Thank you very much, Josh. Here's another question. What is the typical ROI on a standard system?
On average, I would say that you could expect a 2-year time frame for your return on investment. However, we have several customers that achieve their ROI in a year or less.
Okay, and with that answer, we're going to have to wrap up this webinar right there. Josh Stevens, thank you for spending some time with all of us today. And thanks to all of our audience members for being part of this webinar event. Now, as a reminder, you'll be receiving an email from us with a link to the on-demand version of this presentation, a PDF of this PowerPoint, an FAQ document, and a Q&A transcript. Lastly, please take a moment to complete our survey, which will appear on your screen at the end of this webinar. Thank you, take care, and we'll talk to you soon.